to this here channel space. We're still undergoing some reconstruction. We're still working on some assets to post some quality content here. So, to hold you over until we're ready, we're watching a movie in class today. This is a video that was written and recorded back in 2020 and just never uploaded, but I found it in an attic and I thought I'd play it for you. Now pay attention, there'll be a test later. For context, this video was made back when video game challenge run videos were all over YouTube. So Funkus thought it would be a fun idea to capitalize on an interesting trend by doing something completely uninteresting, playing Pokemon Colosseum without any shadow Pokemon. Yeah, he actually thought that would be a good video idea. And this is why he needs to be reconstructed. But hopefully you all can enjoy it now. For Biffany and Schubert, the two people in the world who don't know, Pokemon Colosseum is a GameCube spin-off of the Pokemon series that has a darker tone, written in giant quotation marks. Basically, instead of being a dumb little kid putting wild frogs and crabs into your pocket like most Pokemon games, in Pokemon Colosseum you steal people's pets and you make them fight until they stop being mad about it. Don't worry, we're not bad guys. Thank God this is a Christian server. We're only allowed to steal shadow Pokemon, which are being tortured by purple. In a normal playthrough, your goal would be to build a team of 6 out of these shadow Pokemon, clean all that purple gunk off of them, and set about stealing all of the shadow Pokemon so we can finally put an end to their torture. But you know, fuck them. In our playthrough, we're not going to capture a single one of these ungrateful buttards. Instead, we're just going to use the non-shadow Pokemon available in the game. All 3 of them. We get 2 cats and a math. While these Pokemon are generally decent, well, 2 of them are, we are going to be at a huge disadvantage because we only have half of the maximum team size, and Pokemon Colosseum is not an easy game to begin with, for reasons I'll go into later. And we're going to make it all the way to the credits with these bad boys, so strap in, baby! A couple ground rules. First rule, we are only allowed to use Pokemon that aren't currently nor have ever been a dirty shadow. Probably shouldn't say it like that. I'm not allowed to use a shadow Pokemon at any point. Second rule, don't ever drink a Red Bull slushie. That's just a general moral standard. Third rule, no using items in battle. All of the challenge would be drained out if I was able to just survive every battle by throwing the Forever Pepsi into my cat's mouth. Items outside of battle and held items are allowed. I'm going to be using the Madry Bread method of writing the script as I go. Be sure to tell me in the comments if you think I can do it, and I will be sure not to pay attention to that at all. Also, I'm going to be assuming going into this that you have a cursory understanding of how Pokemon battling generally goes. So if you don't have that, I don't know, grab a beer, take a load off, enjoy the pretty colors. Everyone clear? Alright, let's roll. Our adventure begins, as many do, by blowing up a cancer clinic with our cat, and this lazy asshole is just sitting in the car! After a long day of terrorism, Skinning heads on down to the local desert train to wet his whistle. Good day, gentlemen. I hope you enjoy your wiggling potatoes. But uh-oh, Tickle Me Pingo is eyeing us lecherously from across the bar. You know what that means. He's gonna throw his raccoons at us. As we have our first battle, this is a good time to go over our team for the first part of this run. We have 2 guys, Umbreon and Espeon, who we'll give nicknames to later. Umbreon is a level 26 pure dark type Pokemon with the moves Bite, Secret Power, Taunt, and Snatch. Not a terrible spread for now, but Snatch is definitely going to wear out its usefulness really soon. Umbreon has a bashful nature, giving him neutral growths across all of his stats. That means he's going to lean heavily into his naturally defensive base stats to get anything done. Luckily, with his Synchronize ability, Umbreon is going to make for an excellent defensive party member. Espeon is purple. Anyway, by the time we've gone through that, we've already broken Tickle Me Pingo over our knees like a bag of potato chips, so it's time to go to River World. Once we get there, we see Hubgis and Goofit from earlier struggling with their sack of potatoes. I try to give them a hand, but they throw 2 screaming Sandras at me, and by the time I take them out, they've left me their entire haul. Anyway, some townsfolk help me pull out this giant hairy potato, and she wants me to escort her to the mayor's office. I, in turn, immediately start beating the tar out of every good citizen in town. Once we get to the mayor's house, we're stopped by an upstanding citizen by the name of Squiggle Billy, and then we go in to meet Mayor Bing Boing. Potato tells him all about the Pokemon with black auras that my therapist assured me don't exist, and he's all like, I'm secretly the bad guy at the end of the game. And I'm like, same. Then we go and fight some cancer patients who call me a snagger, which that's our word, you can't say that. As you may have noticed with your eye holes, in Pokemon Colosseum, every battle is a double battle, meaning each player in the battle sends out 2 Pokemon at once instead of 1, like in most Pokemon games. This adds a lot to the difficulty of Pokemon Colosseum that I mentioned earlier. Battles can be a lot more difficult because smart opponents can bear down on one Pokemon with both of theirs, which is a big deal when one Pokemon makes up a full 50% of our team. This is something that can work to both our advantage and our detriment, as this allows us to come up with some big brain 3D chess maneuvers. For example, Espeon is far and away the better attacker of our two Pokemon, with his ridiculous special attack stat and psychic-type moves and insane speed ensuring he usually goes first. So it would be good for Umbreon to use some moves to support him, like using Taunt to keep the opponent from hitting Espeon with a debuff move or something. Likewise, while Umbreon isn't nearly as good at attacking, he's very bulky, and Espeon can support him by throwing up a Reflect to increase that natural girth to astronomical levels, or use Helping Hand to give Umbreon a little more power on his attacks. While our dominant strategy at the moment is just to attack with both party members, it's this synergy that I think is going to bring us through the tougher battles later on. Anyhow, we beat the cancer patients, Potato makes us buy contraband that we can never use, and then, oh no! Mayor Bing Boing is in trouble! We rush to his rescue, only to find out that we're not the savior, that guy is. This is Mirror B. I love him, and I feel him deep inside me at all times. Look at this Jive Johnson over here. He walks out of runes while also salsa dancing. Ah, what a body pillow of him. But we can't follow Mirror B because we had to deal with Hubgus and Goofant again. This time though, Goofant has a trick up his sleeve. He pulls out a Shadow Pokemon to attack us directly. Potato screams that we must snag the poor suffering Pokemon and take him away from this evil owner. But you know, miss me with that gay shit, I just melted his brain and walked away. Lord Mirror B set guards at all 3 gates of the city that normally would allow me to pick a Johto starter, but you know, miss me with that gay shit, now it's more like picking out a favorite color of Kool-Aid. I like black cherry. I actually lost Espeon during this fight. Luckily, Umbreon is dummy thick, and the clap from his ass cheeks takes out the Shadow Quilava. We drink this Kool-Aid man and chase him back to Memphis. Oh wait, Dingledy, I forgot about the pre-gym in Fanac City. Yeah, I think we get a TM for return if we do this, which is a really strong normal type attack that would go great on Umbreon instead of Secret Power. We go and fight 4 trainers in a row, each repping a single Pokemon type and a Portman totally stupid name. It's a tough 4 battles, but somehow I managed to pull through for the final fight with Justy. Alright, I can only fight Justy if I have a full team of 6. We are locked out of this forever. Pyrite City. Wait, no, construction site. Neat. First thing I see when I get there is a police officer harassing a dude with green hair. People in town say that Pistachio, the guy who runs the Coliseum in town, has let Mirror B take over the place, driving Memphis into poverty. Well, that and gentrification. When I go to talk to him, he refuses to communicate with me unless I touch his daughter in the waterfall cave. After that, he gets into a fight with Justin Timberlake. Then Potato gets all jealous because I'm flirting with a different vegetable I want to mash, so I have to fight everyone in town square. And I die to a Shadow Misdreavus. Basically, if Espeon goes down, then I lose, because while Umbreon can soak up hits, he can't do crap for damage, and all the bulk in the world ain't gonna help you for getting it in 2 holes at the same time. Luckily, just as I'm contemplating this conundrum, Umbreon learns Confuse Ray, meaning that he can confuse enemies into potentially hitting themselves, and I'm gonna ride that high for a while. All of our investigating in town into the whereabouts of Mirror B leads us to Green Gigants from earlier. After we grab his ferret by the tail and crack its head against the cold pavement, he says that he got a Shadow Pokemon from winning at the Pyrite Coliseum. Mirror B then dances out his frustration to Squiggle Billy, and then this scientist dances, and then Justin Timberlake steals a gear from the windmill. Can Justin Timberlake do that? Hey, at least he can do that better than he can make music, am I right, fellas? While the police are distracted, I steal the jail key and let all the prisoners loose. Memphis for life. Anyway, we get the gear back and get the trust of Pistachio. Now it's Coliseum time, baby! Now's the point in the game where we're done with dumb plot stuff and it's just gonna be nothing but straight fighting for a while. I should probably use this time to get into my general strategy. See, my time in Town Square has made me aged and wise, and now I know more than ever that this game is going to be one of survival. See, Espeon usually goes first in a battle, and his confusion hits like a brick, but he goes down to 1 good physical hit. Umbreon usually goes 3rd or 4th, and he can't hit very hard at all, but he can generally do enough damage that Espeon can take it out in 1 more confusion. So battles become a rousing round of minimizing enemy turns to keep Espeon alive for as long as possible, because once he goes down, Umbreon can't beat a can of beans. I've got it down to a flowchart though. Question 1, can Espeon take out a Pokemon with a single confusion? If yes, then do that, and then whittle down the other one with Secret Power so Espeon can take it out in the next turn and keep the momentum going. If no, then question 2, can a Pokemon take out Espeon in 1 turn? i.e., does it have a strong physical attack? If yes, then use Reflect and Confuse Ray to mitigate damage. If no, then bear down on the highest threat with both of them. Simple strategy, and it doesn't take into account something like Helping Hand, but it works for now. I get through the Pyrite Coliseum using this flowchart with no problems, and I get Toxic to replace Taunt on Umbreon to make this flowchart even better. So after our commanding victory at Grumbledum Stadium, we get let into the Shadow Clinic. But little did they know that shadows are against my religion, so I set about purging purging the heretics from this place. Plus, Pistachio asked us to rescue his math mouse, and now we come to the first instance of a crazy number of battles in a row with nothing in between. Pokemon Coliseum does this a lot, you'll come to know in time. As I make my way up the building, my flowchart approach works like a dream. Like, sometimes someone will use a Dark-type Pokemon that's immune to Psychic-type attacks like Espeon's Confusion, but it's usually not too big of a deal to just swap over to Return instead. Regardless though, we get to the top without any real problems, where Billary and Chuk have captured teenage heartthrob Justin Timberlake. Oh no!